is a KATU Storm Tracker weather alert.
That Storm Tracker weather alert as we are tracking snow on this Monday morning, April 11th. Let me say that again, April 11th. This is video taken overnight in Northeast Portland. This was right outside the station as those giant snowflakes started coming down, and it is still coming down. KATU is on your side with team coverage this morning. We have crews everywhere this morning. KATU's Dan McCarthy is on Highway 26 at Sylvan. Nikki Torres is in the Northwest Portland. Mike Warner is scoping out the West Hills. Hannah is tracking what is already turning into a very dicey commute for some of you. Let's bring in meteorologist Rhonda Shelby. First, though, what the heck, Rhonda?
Man, all the perfect real ingredients came together overnight. A vigorous storm system dropping heavy rain into air that was so cold that it created snow at 500 feet. And by the way, then pulled the snow level all the way down to the valley floor. That's what we're dealing with. There's the Beaverton Toyota Riverfront camera, which normally you could see out of, but a big snowflake got stuck right on it as I put it up into my show here. 34 degrees and snowing pretty much everywhere in the Northern Valley up through Southwest Washington, the Coast Range, as well as the Gorge and the Cascades. The only place where I'm not seeing it much is the South Yamhill County area, and also Salem got lucky this time and didn't see much of anything at all. So let me just explain what's happening today. We have morning accumulating snow. I would get ready for quite a few closures. We're already seeing road closures, according to Hannah. Winter weather advisory until at least 10 a.m. this morning. When the sun comes up here in the valleys, we will start to see melting. This is the good thing about April. This is pretty much short-lived, but radar shows you that right now our rain-snow mix is happening mainly on the south and east side of Portland at the moment, but on the north and the west side, that's all snow still coming down. The pink is a mix, as I just mentioned. From Woodburn to Salem, right now that's rain. And to the east, there is no doubt that it is snowing in all the higher elevations. So lots to talk about here, and we'll take you through it in 10 minutes or so.
As soon as I opened my eyes this morning, I thought, oh my gosh, my bedroom is way too bright right now. What's going on out there? All right, let's talk about what's going on traffic-wise. Hannah, you're already seeing a ton of problems.
Lots of closures already, and as Rhonda mentioned, a lot of that is due to tree limbs coming down. Take a live look outside here. This is I-5 up at Rosa Parks. Look at how much snow is on the treetops here. Traffic-wise, I-5 is in okay shape coming up and down through North Portland, but lots of issues out there already. To the west, Cornelius Pass Road completely closed for about 4 miles just south of 30, all the way down to Germantown Road. There is a tree down here. ODOT's detouring drivers to Old Cornelius Pass. I would just avoid this commute if you can this morning. It's going to be dicey no matter how you travel through this area. St. John's Bridge also shut down. There's an issue there with a tree down impacting some power lines as well. There's also going to be trouble for folks who need to get across the Fremont. That would be your detour for the St. John's Bridge closure. So again, take it slow, stay home if you can. I'll update you on that Fremont Bridge scene coming up in the next 10 minutes.
Hannah's going to need a lot more coffee this morning, I think. Thank you, Hannah. Let's bring in Evan Schreiber. We kind of figured this would happen. We're already seeing some school delays. Any closures, Evan?
Yeah, no major closures right now, but of course it's something we're tracking here in the KATU live desk as we're watching live over the city of Portland right now from our downtown cameras. This is our standard cameras. We're also watching closings popping up here, and we got them up on KATU.com under the weather tab. These are some of the big ones we're seeing already. 2-hour delays at Beaverton School District, Sherwood School District, Tigard-Tualatin School District. One closure I can let you know about this morning, Jewel School District, already making the call early this morning at 5:05 right now that they are closed for the day. So a lot of schools on delays right now. Not a lot of schools closing, although there is still just a lot developing this morning as we're still keeping you updated to these alerts here from the live desk, Angelica, and we'll be keeping you posted throughout the morning as more of those come in, as we are expecting many, many more of those to come in. Back to you in studio.
Yeah, it's still a little early. I know a lot of districts don't even make the call until 5:30 in the morning. Evan, thank you for tracking that and keeping an eye on it for us. Let's take a live look at the city of Portland from our standard camera, where you can obviously see snow-covered rooftops, a white Morrison Bridge. It is a good big picture of how much snow is sticking to the valley floor right now. KATU's Nikki Torres is live in Northwest Portland. And Nikki, you're seeing some damage out there?
We are, yes. So we actually, Angelica, we came out here to the Nob Hill neighborhood because a gentleman in our last hit came up to us to tell us that he saw a down tree, one down tree, and that was this one. We assumed that that was all there was. It's this down tree here on 22nd and Flanders, and then sure enough, we were looking for parking, and then we found this. It's covering the whole roadway. It's on top of cars. This is multiple trees. Angelica, take a look at this. We have down trees broken from the stems. And here's what's happening here. Why we have this, really, you already see we have the petals, we have the leaves. Because this snow is so wet and so heavy, it's weighing down all of the branches and it's bringing down all of these trees that have already flourished during springtime. We were always talking about the blossoming, but now because it's already late into spring, it's bringing down a lot of these trees. And we're also seeing some concerns here for some downed power lines as well. So this is a look at what you're expecting for the commute this morning. I like to call the texture right now as far as what we're seeing. This is more so like 7-Eleven Slurpee-like conditions. It's very wet, it's very heavy, but it is still compacting on the roads. We've been seeing some cars just slipping around a little bit for this morning. Not a lot of cars for this morning. That's good news, but we were expecting it to pick up here in just a little bit. So make sure that you know that this is kind of what you're expecting if you are going to be out driving for the next few hours.
Yeah, Nikki.
Very messy, Angelica.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people are going to be seeing those big branches now that have leaves on them down in their neighborhoods. Nikki, have you seen PBOT? Do we know what they're doing right now?
You know, driving around Northwest Portland, we haven't seen PBOT. We've actually seen a lot of trash workers for this morning. They've been giving us the heads up about some of these downed trees, which is nice. But when we talked to PBOT yesterday, what they told us was that they were going to have crews working from last evening, working around the clock just to make sure that they can make safer road conditions. Again, we haven't seen them here in Northwest Portland throughout the neighborhoods here. But what they did tell us from last night is that they are going to be focusing on those higher elevation level areas where they might see a little more compacted snow. So again, if you are going to be driving towards the lowlands, this is just something that you have to expect. What they do recommend is if you don't trust your vehicle to drive in these conditions, to just either delay your commute or maybe consider public transportation.
Yeah.
Ange?
Hopefully people can work from home, most people. Nikki, thank you. Let's go up to the higher elevations. Our team coverage continues now with KATU's Dan McCarthy. He's checking out conditions for us a little bit higher up in the West Hills. Dan, what are you seeing out there?
Well, I'm not believing my eyes, no matter what I'm seeing out here, Angelica. We're in the second week of April, and we're talking about snow up here in the West Hills. Now, this is a spot where we typically go to see some of the snowfall and the impacts along Highway 26, but it's really rare that we're doing so after Oregon and Washington spring breaks. But you can see some of the flashing lights further down 26. Those are some of the plows that we have seen making their way down this very busy roadway, a roadway that can be very treacherous when you get snowfall. So something that we've been keeping a close eye on with both Hannah and Mike, watching the traffic conditions in the area. But obviously the snow a little heavier, coming down a little harder up this way, and the snow itself, as we've been talking about, it's pretty compact, something that's going to be difficult to manage, and slushy too. And as Nikki was talking about as well, right, the down branches, we're seeing them here as well. Obviously not down, but you can see how much it's sagging some of the branches that we're seeing out here, and it's not exactly the easiest to knock off either. But again, we're well into spring at this point, so it is a stunning sight to see right now that we're managing these and watching these snow conditions out here. Personally, having driven on this just a short while ago, we did see at least one vehicle that was off to the side of the road with its hazard lights flashing because they were getting stuck in some of the snow. Fortunately, thus far, at least from our perspective up here, we haven't seen that to this point, really just seeing plows. So a little bit more optimistic as the morning has continued, but certainly something that you're going to have to keep a close eye on. And if you yourself are getting ready to get out in your car, A, be prepared to brush it off, and B, be very, very careful, especially on the left lanes, for example, where we've seen a lot of slush moving through the roadway. So something we'll continue to watch closely. Angelica, back to you.
Dan, Rhonda is asking me, how much accumulation do you think you guys have right where you are right now?
It's a great question. Given a look, I don't have a ruler on me, but, man, I don't know. I'd say it looks like about a
Rhonda is
I don't know. It's okay.
Rhonda's eyeballing it. She doesn't even need a ruler. She can just look at your shot. That's all she wanted to know. You're from Connecticut. I'm from Massachusetts. Dan, this is still crazy even for a New Englander, I'm sure. This is April we're talking about.
This is something you always dread, being from New England, and something I think we were both hoping we'd never have to talk about again.
What do you
and
think
yet
we're
here
doing
it
out
is.
here? What do you think we moved to the Northwest for?
I know, right?
All right, Dan,
we want to get away from this.
Thanks, Dan. Be careful out there. We'll check back in with you. And be sure to keep it right here on KATU News for continuing team coverage all morning long. When we're not on the air, you can find updates on our website, KATU.com, or by downloading our KATU weather app, which warned you about this snow, of course. And don't forget to show us what you're seeing in your neighborhood. Send us your photos by going to our website, KATU.com, and clicking on the Chime In tab.
K2 Weather is sponsored by Beaverton Honda.
Beaverton Honda, a member of the Lanphier Auto Group. A better way. No hassle, no haggle. It's just easier to be transparent.
I wish I had a buck for the number of times Rhonda has said wow, this morning. And you're not a dramatic person.
No, this is historic.
This is crazy.
Yeah, we broke the record for measurable snow this late in the season.
Of course.
Yeah. So it's pretty crazy. We are watching all of the conditions around the area. I wanted to ask Dan that question because I am getting some snow reports in, and I just want to kind of show you where they are on the map here. But first, look at this camera, the Hood River camera. If you haven't seen this morning, this looks like February out here in Hood River. This is right down to the valley floor, not up in the highest elevations. This is low. 32 degrees right now and snowing heavily, and I do think you guys are going to pick up about 2 or 3 before it slows down. Here we are looking at our camera. You can just barely make out the snow kind of flying by because the wind is a little bit higher at that level. And we will see the snow change over to rain here once we get to sunrise and mid-morning. It's going to be pretty short-lived. 34 degrees is the current temperature, and you see that northwest wind's pretty strong. It's at 18. This system is going to hit a little different than the snowstorms we've had in the past because that heavy wet snow is taking out trees. It's also a little easier to drive in, but I wouldn't say easy because it's still a challenge if you don't have the kind of vehicle that can handle snow. However, it is spring, and so the melting is going to start a little faster than it does in the winter. Okay, snow report so far. Where we've had our most snow has been obviously in the highest elevations where you see all the yellow and the orange dots. That's like 6 to 8 inches in the Cascades right now, and anything above 1,000 feet is really difficult to drive in. It's about 5 inches at the summit of Highway 26 so far. So avoid the Coast Range until at least afternoon. And then right through our region, it's basically 1 or even under 1. Once you get down to Woodburn, Salem, we're not seeing much at all. But in Portland, it's about 1 to 3. Now, I do think that's going to be the accumulation for early this morning. 1 to 3 below 500 feet, 2 to 4 if you're 500 feet or higher. And above 1,000, that's where we're going to see up to 1 foot in the Cascade. So we'll keep you posted on what else will happen. But know that the afternoon is not going to look like this. It's going to be mostly rain showers. And the rest of your forecast is ahead in 10 minutes.
All right, Rhonda, thanks. Let's talk to Hannah. You've got a lot of closures. I know there's problems on bridges and obviously the interstates right now.
It's already messy all over the place. Even major routes are dealing with crashes and detours. So I-5 northbound, just north of the Ridgefield exit. New wreck there. WashDOT reports a couple of lanes are blocked. You can see heavy slowing right now, both directions. WashDOT Southwest account just tweeted out to delay your commute if you can. They're dealing with some really tough conditions and lots of downed trees up there as well. 2 new closures on Skyline that PBOT just let us know about. So Skyline is closed to the north from Germantown up to Newberry. That's just south of Highway 30. And then down in the West Hills, it's also shut down between Burnside and Cornell. We know there's some really treacherous travel conditions there as well. Still watching this stalled semi that's blocking the ramp from I-5 north to 405 south. So you won't be able to merge onto the Fremont Bridge right now from that route. Mike Warner is out and about for us in the live drive here. Mike, are you over on Highway 30?
Yeah, I was just checking out St. John's Bridge over there. That is closed. There's a huge tree that came down up on Bridge Road right before you get up on the bridge. And then it's down here on Highway 30. The trunk fell down here too. So they were trying to repair the power lines. The power's out in the area. The lights are out right around the St. John's Bridge turnoff. So just be super careful. You're not going to be able to get on the bridge right now. Highway 30 is pretty treacherous. A lot of snow on the ground. It's very slick out here. If you got to get out, be super careful and try to watch the area for you as we go along.
What a mess. Yeah, you be careful out there too. Thanks, Mike. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, Hannah, Mike, thank you. Here's another live look at the conditions out there. This is from our standard camera overlooking the Willamette River. That's the Morrison Bridge right there. We're watching cars slowly going over the bridge. Super icy out there. It's just wet and gross, so keep it on K2 all morning for team coverage as we continue our Storm Tracker weather alert. We'll be right back. Welcome back. We're in a Storm Tracker weather alert. I want to remind you that we have school closures and delays scrolling at the bottom of your screen, and they're coming in fast right now. You can also check KATU.com for the latest as the morning rolls on and we get more of those closures and delays. It is 5:18 right now. A tragic update on Mount Hood over the weekend. Search and rescue crews found the body of a missing snowboarder. Ryan Mather had been missing since Tuesday when he didn't return home from snowboarding at Mount Hood Meadows. Late Friday afternoon, the Meadows Ski Patrol found evidence that a body was buried in avalanche debris in Clark Creek. Saturday morning, crews were able to remove Mather's body from that creek. Let's bring in Evan Schreiber. Evan, I know you've been watching for power outages. We've been seeing all these down lines. Nikki showed us that huge tree down in Northwest. What are you seeing?
Well, it's massive, Angelica, because we're talking about what Nikki was saying. The snow is so wet. It's so heavy. It's bringing down these power lines. As we're watching PGE having the biggest number of issues right now. I mean, this is widespread. We're talking about Southwest Portland. We're talking about out west in Washington County, down south in Yamhill County. It's pretty huge. We're talking about 5,400 customers in Washington County, about 3,300 customers in the dark in Multnomah County, 1,500 customers in Yamhill County. So in total, you're seeing what PGE is putting out there right now. Nearly 11,000 customers in the dark from about 600 different individual outages. I mean, to say this is a headache would be the understatement of the month right now, because we're seeing this in mid-April, and they are just going to be dealing with this all day. So it's something we're going to be tracking, of course, here from the KATU Live Desk. We'll be keeping you updated as they work to get things back on KATU.com as well, Angelica. So use this as a warning to anyone who's watching right now. Use this as an alert. Call your friends, call your loved ones, make sure they're okay, because it's cold out there, and that power is out for so many people this morning. Back to you.
Yeah, check on your neighbors. Maybe some of them, they were caught off guard by this. It's really, really important. Take care of each other on a morning like this. Evan, thank you. Let's take a live look at the conditions right now. We've got so many live cameras. That's the great thing. Lots of tools to see what it's doing in different parts of the city and beyond. Rhonda, a lot of times we talk about snow up in the West Hills, and you take a look at this. This is our standard camera, and it's like Portland's fine. We're not getting accumulation. That's not the story this morning.
No, because the snow level did get pulled to the valley floor in the heavier showers that came through. Now, I don't think we're done with this week. It's possible again with the next couple of systems that come through. They come through in the morning. They may be heavy rain, and this may happen again because the snow level is going to stay very low. Let me explain all the colors on the watches and warnings map here. The purple over the north part of the valley in Southwest Washington, well, that is that winter weather advisory that you've been seeing on your phones. National Weather Service issued that yesterday till 10 a.m. That's everywhere from Clackamas County, generally up to Clark County, and then the pink is a winter storm warning where it's really coming down. Skamania County, also up in the Cascades in Clackamas County, and of course the Coast Range. We're talking about 4 to 6 inches up to maybe a foot at the highest elevations. We also have places like Sherman County under a winter weather advisory. This goes all the way and extends all the way into the eastern half of the state. Umatilla County as well, Crook County, all the way down into Lane County in the Cascades, and along the Coast Range, winter weather advisory in Lane County. So this is that low pressure area that made landfall last night, and it's windy, by the way, with all of this as well as this low passes through. So we have a strong northwesterly wind going. We also have snow swirling around this low, and this is going to continue for at least another couple of hours. If you're seeing snow where you live right now, it will keep falling, and then once we get into daylight, that's when we'll start to see some of the melting, and then the melting will be more extreme going into the afternoon. Lincoln City's already at 42 degrees. This is not an issue here for the Central Coast, as you folks are not seeing any snow at this moment, thank goodness. So right now, west of the Cascades, here's your forecast. Morning snow, 1 to 3 inches possible. Right now, valley locations have about 1 to 2. Some areas a little higher up, 3 to 5. Afternoon, though, this will really start to turn to rain. And as I mentioned earlier, this kind of hits different in the spring. It's heavy, wet snow rather than the fluffy stuff we see in the winter. Rain, snow showers for central and eastern Oregon, mostly snow showers into the afternoon, though. I think we'll see up to 4 inches in some locations, definitely around Meacham and LeGrand and the higher elevations as well. 7-day forecast. All right, so 43 the high today, 37 tonight. Look how close to a snow level, a 500-foot snow level we will be, because temperatures are going to stay in the mid-30s through the next 3 days. The next system, I think, strong enough to maybe take it to the snow level back down to the valley floor is Wednesday morning, late Tuesday, early Wednesday. We'll watch for that window. I think the snow level will be at 1,000 feet by Thursday, and then partly cloudy and drier with temperatures back in the 50s over the weekend. But guys, we really never get to our average high of 60. This is an unusual April week for sure.
And of course, I did all my spring planting this weekend. I ruined my manicure, and now all of my flowers are going to be dead. All right, let's talk to Hannah, because we got more important problems to talk about, and that is the commute this morning. I hope you don't have to head out, because it's going to be real tricky.
If you absolutely don't have to, definitely delay your commute. Stay home if you were able to this morning. We have issues all over the metro area right now. Here's a live look at the conditions. Here's 26 at Sylvan, where the road looks okay, pretty slushy. We have seen ODOT come through a few times and either plow or treat things here, but still plenty of snow falling actively up on Sylvan right now. We've got this major closure on Cornelius Pass that is completely shut down for about 4 miles from just south of Highway 30 all the way down to Germantown. ODOT is detouring folks to Old Cornelius Pass Road. That's not going to be an easy drive there either. We've still got the St. John's Bridge closed. We've got trees and power lines down there. You take the Fremont as your best detour. That's not that's not an easy way to cross the Willamette though either. And across the metro area, things are okay on major routes, but again, take it slow, give yourself lots of extra time, and just avoid this morning's commute if you can today.
Stick with KATU in the Storm Tracker Weather Alert, because we're keeping you updated to the breaking news here in the KATU Live Desk. I'm Evan Schreiber, watching what's going on really in the West Hills right now as we're getting a live look from our touch mark in the West Hills camera. Blanketed by snow right now. School closures already in effect. I'll tell you about the latest just coming up here in the Live Desk.
And I'm KATU's Dan McCarthy, live in the West Hills, Sylvan area to be precise, taking a look at Highway 26 as we continue to monitor the road conditions out here. We've been keeping you warned about what you can expect on the roadways this morning. We're going to have another update coming up in just a few minutes.
This is a KATU Storm Tracker Weather Alert.
It is 5:30 on this Monday morning, April 11th. This is a live look from behind the wheel of the KATU Live Drive as we are waking up to a Storm Tracker Weather Alert. Historic snow in Portland. This is kind of a weird shot. It shows you the road spray and how slushy it is. But if you look out your window this morning, you might see 1, 2, maybe even more snow out there this morning, depending on where you live. And we're getting new information rolling in on closures and delays by the minute. We have them scrolling at the bottom of your screen and on our website. I wanted to mention this one, though. Portland Public Schools just said because of fallen branches and loss of electricity, Forest Park Elementary and Skyline K-8 will be closed today. All other schools and offices will be open on a 2-hour delay. Thanks for joining us for KATU News this morning. Happy Monday, everyone. I'm Angelica Thornton. This is Hannah Olsen.
Goodbye, everybody.
Smile through all of it.
I'll see you guys later.
Seriously, we're already exhausted. Hannah is tracking so many problems on the roads, kind of all over the place. Let's talk to meteorologist Rhonda Shelby first about this snow. PPS says 2-hour delay. My kids are going to be bummed out, but hopefully it gets better as we get into the morning.
We need to qualify because the hills are still a mess because the temperature is lower there. We're already starting to rise above freezing down here at the valley floor.
School's not canceled because those buses are going to have to be
I'm not surprised about the lowest areas, but the buses might have a problem.
Up in the West Hills.
If they tried to go in the next hour, they'd have a problem. But because we're going to have the 2-hour delay, I think they'll be
10, 11 o'clock, it'll be better.
Absolutely.
Okay, good.
Yeah. So it's good we're talking through this so people can hear that, because I think that will be the case. Here's a look at radar. Live radar shows you where it is still snowing. Let me also say it's not also picking up rain showers. I just heard from folks in Milwaukee where it is raining right now. It was snowing earlier. So you're going to see this wild mix this morning. That's what makes this different, even though it's a historic snowfall and we don't normally see snow in April, especially this late, setting a record for latest ever for Portland. We are going to see the temperatures rise this afternoon. We're under this winter weather advisory until 10 a.m. I will take you through everything I know in 10 minutes from now.
All right, Rhonda, thank you. Let's talk to Hannah. She's kind of watching the whole commute, closures on bridges, crashes. What's going on right now, Hannah?
A little bit of everything. We've got crashes. We've got a lot of issues with downed trees, some that have brought power lines down. So it's pretty messy no matter what neighborhood you're living in this morning. Definitely delay your commute if you are able to. Here's a look at the conditions on 205. This live ODOT camera is up at Killingsworth. Traffic is moving okay here up and down 205. It is pretty slushy, though. Take a look at what speeds are looking like up on I-5 at north of of Ridgefield, there is still a crash there on the northbound side, impacting a couple of lanes. You've got really tough travel conditions, so folks are taking it slow up there both directions right now. A couple of closures on 2 different stretches of Skyline right now, up near Highway 30, shut down from Germantown to Newberry, also closed in the West Hills between Burnside and Cornell. These are just a few of the major closures that we have so far this morning. I'll update you on a few more coming up in the next 10 minutes, but again, just delay that commute if you are able to early this morning. It's going to be a tough drive out there.
Keeping track of those delays and closures for schools here in the KATU Live Desk as we're watching live over the city of Portland from our riverfront camera this morning. And you just heard Angelica talk about it. Portland Public Schools delaying things 2 hours. But I want to dig a little deeper into this because they say they're going to update things at 8 this morning. So even though most schools are on a 2-hour delay, they're going to keep us updated with those alerts at 8 this morning. So we'll be keeping watch. But let's talk about the widespread issues right now and some of the biggest closures just coming in the last 10 minutes here. Beaverton School District still on that 2-hour delay. But look at this out west. Forest Grove School District closed, and then up in Washington, Kelso, Longview, Woodland, all announcing that they are closed this morning. I'm speaking specifically about those districts up in Washington. I mean, they're canceling everything. Kelso put out that no classes, no sports, no activities, so they're planning this closure for the entire day today. As we're keeping you updated here from the KATU Live Desk, and we'll be keeping you updated as many more of these come pouring in, Angelica, as we're keeping you updated in this storm tracker weather alert.
Yeah, we appreciate it. Evan, thank you. That morning commute, not looking great. Let's get over to Don Hamilton with ODOT. He joins us on the phone right now. Don, thanks for waking up with us. I never thought I'd be talking to you about snow on the highways on April 11th. What the heck is going on out there?
Well, how about that? I didn't think we'd be talking about snow at this point either, not in the middle of April, but here we are. We've got snow out there, mostly at the upper elevations is where the biggest problem is.
Yeah, so were you guys ready for this?
Well, we've been watching the forecast over the last couple of days, and we actually had our crews in the yards on Sunday and getting our trucks ready, getting the de-icers ready, putting the plows on. We were watching, and we were trying to be ready for this, and we had them out there at 4 o'clock in the morning getting ready.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, because we're, close to the middle of April at this point, does that impact how you can respond to this as far as crews, equipment? I mean, do you put some of your stuff into hibernation in the spring or anything like that?
No, we had everything ready to go. We really didn't use an awful lot of our equipment and our tools over the course of the winter. So we had everything ready to go, and we don't recycle the plows over the winter. They're ready to go out there. So, and the de-icer, we had plenty of that. So it was just a matter of staging everything, getting everything ready to go, and calling the crews to get in there at 4 a.m. That's what we were really doing. So we were in the yards on Sunday and getting everybody out there on Monday morning so that we were set.
Don, have you ever experienced anything like this? I know you've been with ODOT for a while. You've been in Oregon forever. Can you remember anything like this late in the season?
I don't remember any snow in mid-April like this before, too. And the one thing that I can hope for in this is that it'll warm up a little bit later in the day. That's my favorite winter maintenance tool, is 40 degrees by noon.
Yeah, I know the tree branches might be a problem today. You're going to have crews moving a lot of debris. What is your best advice for drivers if they have to head out this morning?
Well, in the upper elevations, there are going to be some significant issues because that's going to be cold for a while, too. But right now, it's slushy, and that means it's kind of dangerous out there. Slow down, be careful. Look out for the other vehicles on the road. Watch out for the bikes and the pedestrians out there, too. They're out there on the road. We got to slow down. Look out for the other folks on the road.
All right, you be careful out there. We appreciate all the work that you guys are doing to keep people safe. Don, we'll check back in with you in just a little bit. Thank you so much for chatting with us. Let's get up to Dan McCarthy, who's along Highway 26 at Sylvan. It's like #1 on the top 10 places there. You send a reporter in snow. Dan, we're expecting the highway to look pretty ugly a little later on this morning as more people hit the road.
Yeah, exactly right, Angelica. As we keep track of the conditions, the snow continuing to fall pretty heavily at this hour here in the West Hills. And giving you a look at Highway 26, we have seen the plows out there. We've seen the road work being done. But one thing the crews can't do is drive for you. So you really have to be careful if you're getting behind the wheel, especially as we start to see these conditions maybe get worse and certainly see more cars on the roadway. Be sure to give yourself extra space in the cars in front of you as you prepare to potentially brake on major roadways like Highway 26. But as we continue to track the conditions up here, we are seeing the snow and the impact on branches, for example, obviously sagging some of the ones up here, and you can see how much of it is sticking to these branches. A lot of snowfall right now, and we've been talking about the slush on the main roads, but we are seeing snow on really the smaller roads. Look at this here. This is where we've been parked monitoring the conditions. Still a lot of snow right here on the ground, and it's pretty easy to pack as well. So that's going to be a problem for drivers as we keep track of things. And just taking a look once again at the roadway here, Highway 26, and the conditions and the impact on drivers trying to fight through the chain link fencing coated in snow itself as the drivers continue to flock to Highway 26 and have to be a little more careful as the morning progresses, because the snow is still falling at this hour and there's more and more drivers getting on the roadway, so it could be a very treacherous commute if you haven't left yet. And maybe consider delaying that drive because we know it's going to warm up a little bit later this morning, or perhaps putting a pause on it altogether. But we'll continue to track things and bring you an update as we continue to watch the snow fall here in the second week of April. Angelica, I cannot get over this.
This is crazy.
What is happening?
I know. It's a lot of people are actually happy about it because they get to go out and play in it, but we have to go to work at 3 in the morning and deal with it all morning. I want to ask you about that. Dan, I'm in North Portland. We get a lot of snow right off the Willamette in North Portland. I know you're in Vancouver where they got a little bit more. How is that drive into Portland for you?
All right, well, again, we're talking about around 3:30 in the morning where I was doing that drive, but it was pretty terrible, Angelica. I mean, there was a lot of slush on the roadway. You couldn't even try the left lane. You were just going to get a ton of spray right up onto your windshield or onto the vehicles next to you. So you were committed to either the center or the right lanes as you were driving down. Definitely a white knuckle drive down, and hopefully it's gotten better, but just based on what I'm seeing up here, I'm a little skeptical of that. Back to you.
All right, Dan, thank you.